Good morning, everyone. This is the submission for Smart India Hackathon 2024. The problem statement ID is 1659. The title is Data Download Duplication Alert System. Well, let's understand the problem and go to the whiteboard, right? Suppose we have a client, right? This is our client, and we just don't have one client, we have multiple clients. And these clients are grouped together, they belong to an institute. So let's box them up, right? All these clients belong to an institute, right? Now what problem is, let's draw our institute, right? This is our institute, right? This is our institute. The institute has access to the data, but there is a problem. The institute only has access to about 10 gigabytes of data per day over the internet, right? There is a data usage limit, so we have only about 10 gigabytes, right? Now what the problem is, let's suppose this client sends the request to the institute or the internet to download a file of 5 gigabytes, right? The internet says sure, you can download the file, sends the file back to the client downloads the file in its file system. Good. But now this client sends the request to the internet to download the same file of 5 gigabytes. The internet says sure, no problem, you can download the file as well, sends the file, stores the file here. But now you'll see that to download the same file, we're using twice the amount of data. So now we have no data left, but we use twice the amount of resources we should have used. How can we solve this problem though? So what we'll do is we'll erase this first, right? And we'll draw the 10 gigabytes usage, right? We still have 10 gigs of usage limit of our internet, right? Now what we'll do is we'll introduce a server in the middle of this chain, right? There is our server, right? Oh, okay, server, right? Now what will happen is this server has direct contact with the internet, right? The client wants to download the same file A of 5 gigabytes, but the client will first send the request to the server. The server will check if it has a file A in its file system. It does not, so it will pass the request to the internet. The internet will respond with the file. It will store the file in its file system. The server will store the file in its file system and send the path to that file to the client. We used 5 gigabytes of data in this process. Now suppose this client wants to download the same file again, A of 5 gigabytes. The server will check if it has this file in its file system. It does, so it will reject the request. Instead it will just send the path to the file and it will not transfer this request to the internet. So you see, we saved 5 gigabytes of data and we only used 5 gigabytes. This is how our solution is solving this problem. Okay, so let's assume that we are trying to download Ubuntu Desktop 24.04 LTS, right? And we'll demonstrate how our server will check for duplication and all that stuff, right? So let's first assume that this is the first time that this file is being downloaded. So we'll start our server, right? No file is present in the server yet, so we'll click on download now. You'll see a lot of things. First you'll see a notification that download 7 has been paused, and then download 7 has started, and then you'll see these extension logs here, and you'll see that our download has started. We'll cancel that, right? So what happened was, basically when the browser created a download in the download manager, then our extension sent a request to our server, a fetch request to this endpoint /download, sending all the details about the downloaded file, including its URL. And what we do is we store that URL in the URL list, right? This is a very crude method to check duplication, but very early method. We are in very early stages of development. So what we are basically doing is we are getting the URL of the downloaded file and we are pushing it onto an array. And every time a request is made to this endpoint, we check if that URL is present in that list. If it is present, then it means that we have already downloaded a file from that URL. So we are not going to download file from that URL again. There are a lot of edge cases and a lot of problems with this solution, but this is very early, so bear with us, right? Now you saw that we were able to download the file automatically in the first time, but now if we try to download it again, if I click on it, right, you'll see that the download has been automatically cancelled and we get a check no from the server, meaning that the file was already downloaded in the server and we don't need to download it again, and the download was automatically cancelled. If no matter how many times you do it, the download will automatically get cancelled because the file is already downloaded in the server. So this is how we are going to implement the solution. This is a very basic implementation. Thank you.